Together we can. We are tonight hearing from some of the families of victims shot and killed when armed military officers opened fire during a protest in Idra as they give their first reactions to government's decision to set up a public inquiry into the killings. Now, the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has today been meeting with the families of the killed protesters as well as traditional rulers in Idra, where he announced the composition of the three-member committee. The members are Justice George Kingsley Kumsing, Justice of the Court of Appeal, who is the chairman, Dr. Vladimir Intridanso, security analyst and international relations expert, a member. Also, Juliet Amwa, head of civil society group Pen Plus Byte, also a member. A principal state attorney, Marie Louise Simmons, will serve as secretary to the committee. We'll bring you reactions from some of the family members of the deceased shortly and also give you a sense of who these committee members are. But first, here is the Interior Minister making a commitment the government will not shield any person found culpable.
The unfortunate circumstances would be investigated and appropriate recommendations made. Nana, I assure you of the commitment of the government to ensure peace and security in Ghana, working towards the president's goal to make each citizen and each resident feel safe. What happened would be investigated and recommendations made. We want to reiterate the point that all the fundamental human rights stated in Chapter 5 of our Constitution would be pursued and implemented, including the right to demonstrate. The right to demonstrate is respected by the government. The only thing that we expect is that people want to demonstrate will give notice. They are not asking permission to give notice to the police because the government has a duty to protect all demonstrators during demonstration to make sure that no harm comes to them. It is a duty of government to do that. And we are going to encourage that that right be exercised and the protection of the police be provided. Nana, we do know that one of the issues of security now is the COVID-19 virus. In our sub-region, the third wave is ravaging Sierra Leone, Liberia, South Africa, all over. Yes, due to the proactive leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we have kept our active cases low. But we should not be complacent. The past 2 weeks, on the 19th of June, active cases were 1,301. 8 days later, 27th June 2021, active cases have risen to 1,701. 400 we don't want, but the potential of what those who are infected will be is that it can have a multiplier effect on us. Nana, I want to assure you that this government would make sure that we work with you. And we want to appreciate the populace, the civilian population. Article 41 expects them to support the police and other military agencies. And I want to say that they have largely done that. On 11th May, when I came here, they had done that. But this committee would help us move forward to avoid a recurrence of it in Nigeria, and indeed an occurrence of it any other place in the country. We expect that those recommendations will help us do that. And we hope that the Ghanaian public, citizens and residents would help. My appeal is that anytime you feel a threat, report to the police. The police and the military, as well as other agencies, are friends of us to make us feel safe. Yes, things have gone wrong. We want to see why they went wrong. We want to deal with issues, and whoever is culpable, we want to deal with that. But not today also, His Excellency the President is saddened by the loss of these 3 lives. In the case of Ibrahim Mohammed alias Kaka, the police CID has commenced investigations, and we expect them to expedite action to complete the investigations. From here, Nana, I ask your permission and your support to go to the bereaved families and to commiserate with them. And I hope that I can see some of the injured persons. I know you and the Traditional Council supported the injured persons, some who have been sent to Konfanoche in Kumasi. I express the condolence of the President and the wish that they get well. But I assure you, Nana, that this will not be allowed to rest until we found what happened and what shouldn't have happened.
I want to take you live now to Idra, where, of course, as you heard the minister say, he indeed visited the families of those killed. Those family members have been reacting to the government action in an attempt, of course, to get to the bottom of this. My colleague Nanaya Aljuma traveled with the team and joins us on the telephone line right now. I may have lost him. Hello, Nana. I may have lost him there. We'll bring him back so we can get a clear picture of what indeed happened when the minister met with the families who have been speaking. We know as of tonight that one of the family, of course, is against the setting up of the ministerial committee, the public inquiry. They believe a different approach will yield the justice that they require. We want to understand the context in which that was made. Also, we'll be analyzing for you very shortly who the 3 individuals who are going to be at the helm of the committee are. I'll be telling you who they are very shortly and what their backgrounds are coming to this. We'll also hear from those who say to us, who have said yesterday that they don't believe the commission will work. We'll hear their thoughts on the composition of this very committee. So stay with us. My research desk will join me very shortly with those details. Nana Aljuma is back on the line. Hello, Nana. Give me a sense of what the reactions have been from the families. You've been speaking to the head of family for Nasiru Yusuf, one of those who was shot and killed during a protest. They seem not to be enthused about the public inquiry. They believe a different approach will yield justice.
So the family is divided among the committee that has been set up to investigate the incident that happened on the 29th of June. Now, part of the family believes the Interior Ministry, since the police works under the Interior Ministry, and that the staff of the ministry were those who sent the police there, and through that through the errand that the police went to do at the Edra is the reason why some people losing their lives. They believe that it will be unfair for this ministry to set up a committee to investigate the matter. To them, it sounds like the committee is investigating itself, or the ministry is investigating itself. So if the ministry or government wanted to do a very good job, they should have referred the matter to Parliament or invite an external body outside the country to come in and investigate the matter. Let's listen to family head, who is Abdullah Abubakar.
That is what we were expecting since the first day. We were expecting the president to send his representative to come and give condolences to the lost family, and they've come. I don't have something too much to say. All I have to say is that we need justice. Nothing but justice. This guy died at the age of 25 years, leaving one wife with a child. Ghana as a nation was in need of him. Edra as a community was in need of him. We as a family were in need of him. We've lost him. We've lost him. So what I can say is today is me who knows the next person. So all what we want is justice. Nothing but justice.
So you believe the committee can do the necessary work for you to get the justice you are demanding?
I don't know the type of committee they have formed, but to me, I think there are several things that has been passed for the past, and then they were not able to prove any evidence of justice, like the death of Ahmed Swade. Up to now, no any justice for the journalist who was informing, educating, helping the government to fight against corruption, as you are doing. Up to now, nothing is done.
So what are your fears?
My fears is that if it's the same people they choose as the community, the inquiring community, I'm not agreement with that. I want them to take the problem to the parliament. The parliamentarians will choose a commission for inquiry that will inquire, or they call international community to come and inquire and then investigate this case. Those people who came in, they were policemen, army men, full armed with army uniform. Who sent them? It's the minister. Do you think this minister will defend us and leave them? It's their people.
Does that mean a rejection of the committee that has been set up?
I don't know the type of committee that has been set, but to my opinion, if they want justice and they want truth to reveal, they have to call international community, or they take it to the parliament, and then the parliament will choose a commission to inquire and then investigate the case.
So that is the head of family of the late Nasiru Yusuf, shot and killed during the protest. He's also the senior brother to the Nasiru Yusuf, Abdullah Abubakar. Nana, but within the same family, there's a junior brother who also spoke to the press. He has a different view.
Yes, according to him, citing the incident of Zongo 7 as an example, according to him, in the case of the Zongo 7, there's a committee which was set up by the same Interior Ministry to investigate the matter. And at the end of the day, the committee did a proper job, came out with recommendations, and these recommendations were implemented. So he believes that if government should be given the nod to go ahead and set up a committee to investigate the matter, the committee will do a good job and will find justice that the family is seeking for them. So Abdul Ghani also spoke in the local Akan language.
President so atuna namo sa betunanka de bema ya nijie no be wie pay ne say
What will make us happy will be for the committee to conduct a thorough investigation, for the truth to prevail. After the truth, we need justice. That is what will make the family happy.
ni sene be ya yenso abusua no yakuma abepe ye nti ani age say omampani atu sa namo.
So they're happy that the president had taken this particular step. So, Nana, also before the interior minister flew in via helicopter, we know that the Ashanti regional minister, who is the chair of the Security Council for the region, had taken the lead and had been briefed by the police when he met the MC, who himself is a subject of some controversy.
Yeah, exactly. So the Ashanti regional minister met the DISEC, or the MUSEC, that the Municipal Security Council of Idra, at the Municipal Assembly, where he was briefed about what is happening presently in the community. All that had happened before the 29th incident was also mentioned to the Ashanti regional minister, and other issues that they say is good for the RECSEC to know about were all put ahead in that meeting, which these bodies did ahead of the arrival at Idra.
Nana, thank you very much for that quick update from Idra. So that's the latest from there. We've heard from the one of the family members, but I want to return quickly to the steps the government is taking on the back of the shooting incident in Idra, which is the public inquiry. The committee has now been set up. They are to submit their report in 9 days now, on the 9th of July. The committee members, we now know their identities. It's Justice George Kingsley Kumsing, Kweku Asante is with our research desk. He joins me in the studio right now. Kweku, what do you know about Justice George Kingsley Kumsin, who is the chair?
Right, so Justice George Kingsley Kumsin was appointed to the Court of Appeal by President Akufo-Addo in 2020. Before then, he was a High Court judge and was presiding over the case sent to court by NDC's Kwabena Dufour's company, UniCredit, after the Bank of Ghana had revoked their license. He was also a former Circuit Court judge in Akim Swedru. And mentioning this UniCredit case, he was not the first judge to have sat on the case. The case was actually before Justice Nicholas Abodakwi, a Human Rights Division judge, before the Chief Justice transferred that case to Justice George Kingsley Kumsin. The lawyers for Mr. Dufour raised some issues with it, but the case has been proceeding. And the Bank of Ghana had to challenge the jurisdiction of the court to hear the suit filed by the UniCredit. This same judge threw out that application by the Bank of Ghana and said that the court was right to be able to entertain the suit. And so that case is currently ongoing. And he is currently an appeal court judge, but sitting with additional responsibilities as the High Court judge.
Vladimir Chudanso is very well known to the media. Famously, his links with Lesiat that day. He is former director there at the University of Ghana Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. I used to speak to him purely as an international relations expert and analyst, but we know he's now very grounded when it comes to security matters, and we know a bit more about that also from the positions he currently holds.
Right. So actually, if you look at currently, he's the dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, a very renowned security institution in the country. He's also a former director, like you said, of Lesiad University of Ghana, and has been a lecturer and a security analyst with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center. And so his security acumen is there grounded. And so recently, just after the 2020 election, he and the NDC had a disagreement about the security of the election. While the NDC believed that election was not secured, he actually said he believed that 2020 election was the best election in the country's history. And although there were few security lapses, that did not detract from the election.
I mean, what is known about him, he speaks his mind.
Right.
He doesn't shy away from saying it as it is. We know some of his controversial statements came at the height of the Nkrumah Dankwa debate on who founded Ghana, although he says he's a member of the CPP.
Right. Actually, recently, when it comes to police brutalities in Nigeria, Ghanaians had to call for President Akufo-Addo to speak out as the head of ECOWAS. Actually came out and said that the president as head of ECOWAS did not necessarily have to intervene and speak. He had to do some things behind the scenes. And so he did not support those who said the president must necessarily make public comments.
Let's talk about the Juliet Amwa. He is obviously not somebody who plays within the public space, but we know she is the head of a very reputable civil society group.
Right. So Pen Plus Bytes, one of the renowned media civil society organizations, has been 20 years in running in the country. She's currently the executive director. She's also the former head of business development for Africa region for the Parliamentary Center, a civil society organization in the country, and was also a former business director at the British Council.
Okay, they have a tough task now. They have 9 days and counting to wrap this up and submit a report. I want to bring in, of course, a security analyst, Professor Kwesi Amin, also with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Yesterday, we had the minority at the press conference say they simply do not believe that the public inquiry led by a ministerial committee will do justice to this. Does the composition change anything for them? I have the spokesperson for the Minority on Defense and Interior, former Deputy Interior Minister James Agaga, also with me on the telephone line. But let me start with you, Professor Ainin, if you don't mind. You've seen the composition of this committee. Your reaction?
No, I haven't seen the composition of the...
Oh, you haven't?
But for me, irrespective of whatever composition it is, there are one or two things that must happen. First, that composition must seek to understand and appreciate the broader issues resulting in the loss of life in Nigeria that triggered the violence that we are seeing. The second relates to a strong recommendation that whatever findings they come up with, although it is not in their remit, must be implemented. Because establishing committees of inquiry is one thing. Their recommendations being implemented to bring about the necessary change is another thing. So I'm hoping that irrespective of who sits on it, and I'm hoping to sort of get to know the names a little bit later, must make a strong recommendation between the work that they are doing, the larger structural issues leading to death and violence, and then the implementation of their recommendation.
And if you look at the composition, we're talking about an appeals court judge, Kingsley Kumsing. We are talking about Dr. Vladimir Tredanso, who plays in the same space as your good self. And then also we have the civil society head that Pen Plus Bite, Juliet Amwa. Any of these names ring a bell in terms of the general scope within which you place what the committee must do to get to the bottom of this?
Well, I mean, names are important, but I think what is critically more important is the track record. Because what we are seeing relates to something fundamentally threatening to the broader existential survival of Ghana. So what I'm looking for will be Ghanaians' perception and their reality of the track records of the people who will sit on this panel. And I think that is what is important. It is the track record that will make them go to the bottom of this crisis, but also be able to extrapolate. Because Ejura is not only Ejura. You know, some of the underlying causes and factors leading to the death and violence can be found elsewhere. And also a strong indication that implementation is key. You know, so they must link their track record with a certain solid, principled position that they've said yes because they believe that their recommendations will also be implemented.
Mr. Gaga is with me. Mr. Gaga, your position yesterday was that you believe a different route is best to get to the bottom of this as in a commission. Now that you've seen the committee members and their pedigree, does that change that stance in any way?
Oh, I've seen the composition of the committee. And I must say I know Dr. Vladimir Tredanso. He is an accomplished academic. In fact, when I was in the university, I had a very close relationship with him because he used to be my senior hall tutor at the time. And so I have a lot of respect for Dr. Vladimir Tredanso. Justice Kumsin, I know him. He's a judge of the Court of Appeal. He knows his law. As for the lady, I don't want to be pretentious. I haven't really encountered her, but from what you have said, I heard one of your reporters say good things about her. So I have no doubt that the committee members are persons of integrity and would want to acquit themselves well. But having said that, Evans, the fact that the members of the committee itself are people we can count on will not take away the fact that they're going to work within the constraints associated with committees. And I made the point yesterday, very succinctly, that look, the ministerial committee suffers a lot of limitations. First of all, it's the procedure that they're going to adapt for accomplishing the task that has been assigned it. It's not spelled out in any law. And so when it comes to matters such as the production of documents, they're going to rely solely on the goodwill of the potential witnesses who may be appearing before it. Even when it comes to getting witnesses to appear and testify, they would also be counting on the goodwill of those witnesses. They don't have the power to compel, as in the case of a commission of inquiry. So that, for me, is a limitation. I mean, on how far the committee could go. Additionally, it being a ministerial committee, in a way, places the one who set it up, the Minister for the Interior, who, for me, in respect of the case that we're handling, we have to deal with now, clearly is one that probably would require the interrogation of the minister himself. But Evans, are you sure the committee has what it takes to summon the very minister who commissioned it to do its work to appear and testify? I mean, we wait to see. So these are some of the challenges the ministerial committee would suffer. And so once there are limiting factors, I doubt whether the caliber of persons chosen to serve on the committee will make a difference. It could make a difference, but I mean, it would depend on the goodwill of the people involved here. So we clearly still stand by our earlier proposition that, look, a commission of inquiry would have been more preferable in the circumstances. We haven't given up yet. We have put something together, drafted a resolution under Article 178 for the Speaker's consideration. And if he responds to us favorably, we would want to move the House to actually force the hand of the President to consider replacing the Ministerial Committee with a commission of inquiry to do this job.
Mr. Gaga, I'm grateful that you joined us. Professor Aining, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on this development tonight on the Ejra, killings on the back of the protest there. More on News Night in a minute.
55, 78, 58, 70. Hey, Charlie, my network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers via mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make a change the SIM right now. Yeah, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
Let me explain in here. I'm a mistake where I use cement for all your projects. That's why Gossip, with 50 years experience,